We got an exciting one to end the week. MSU running back Nathan Carter joins the show. We talk about what's to come this upcoming season. What was the transfer portal process like? But also, hey, interesting spring break for him as well. Let's go.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white, 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe to this here YouTube show or podcast. Any way you are consuming this, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now I'll stop babbling. I know why you guys are here. You're here for Nathan Carter, not me. Let's just get to the guy right now. We welcome a guy who was one of the top running backs in the transfer portal this season that chose Michigan State, and also, well, based on the pictures that I've seen from the weight room, a guy that could snap me clean in half if this interview does not go right. But I also think he's kind of too nice to do that anyway. Of course, we are talking Nathan Carter. Hey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. This is great.
Man, this is great, man. Thank you for having me. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you.
Of course, and you just got out of practice. Of course, so far some strenuous, train practices over at the MSU football building. But before we get into all the football stuff, the transfer portal stuff, hey, you just got back from a spring break trip, and I got to say, like, a unique spring break opportunity for a college kid. You want to tell us about that a little bit, what you did?
Yeah, most definitely. So I partnered with an organization called Athletes in Action that we have here at Michigan State, and we went to South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. It was an absolutely amazing trip, man. Our goal was to spread the gospel there, to start their Athletes in Action ministry over there on their campus. So it was this amazing experience being able to do that, and I went with various people from the organization, students, and some people on the staff. It was just great, man. There's not a lot of people that could say they went to South Africa on a mission trip during spring break.
Yeah.
It was just amazing being there and just being able to see how beautiful the country is, and just being able to do the Lord's work there, which is important to me. I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to go there. So it was an amazing trip. So.
There we go. So what kind of mission work they have you doing down there? I think it was a good mix of, you're able to enjoy a vacation, so to speak, but also putting hard work in. So what was some of the work that you're putting in on there?
Yeah, most definitely. So like I said, we were trying to start up their Athletes in Action that we have here.
Okay.
Try to start up there over there in South Africa. So we went on college campuses. We would talk to various athletes. We would just go around and just talk to people, just a whole bunch of random Americans on a college campus, it's like end of the day, talking to people, trying to welcome them into our ministry. And then it was good building relationships with people like that. And, even it's funny, like some of the people that I've met there in South Africa, I still contact to this day right now. And we just check up on each other. So that was great. And then later down the week, obviously with sightseeing and just seeing how beautiful the country is, we went to little perverted areas that are very high in poverty, and we kind of did like a little we partnered with a church that was in the middle of those areas, and we did like a huge kids party, and that was
cool.
Amazing fun. So we just did a huge kids party, for the people in the area, and we get a whole bunch of gear and soccer balls and clothes and jerseys to those kids down there. Football, soccer is a huge thing down there, so it was good to provide for those kids over there. It was just an amazing experience. It's different from what everyone else would be doing spring break, but it was great. So
that's awesome. Now, how long of a flight are we talking here, though, to get to South Africa? How long are we in that plane for?
I want to say 22 hours in total. About 22
Whoa,
hours.
Okay, that's my next question. What's harder, being in a plane for 22 hours or trying to pick up a first down on 3rd and 3 and the other team's got like 8 in the box? What's more challenging for Nathan Carter?
Plane is way harder.
I hear you. So let's just talk about the journey, everything before spring break, these spring practices here. You were obviously at UConn for a little bit. Suffered a shoulder injury. So first and foremost, how is the shoulder feeling? I hope it'd be okay by now, but how you doing?
Shoulder's doing great.
Okay.
I'm blessed. When I was at the UConn staff, they did a good job of helping me get started with the process, and even throughout the summer when I came here, they continued to put maintenance on it. But I haven't had any issues with the shoulder since I've gotten here, so I'm blessed. I'm able to, hit and contact, and I haven't been held back at all. So I'm very blessed and thankful for that. So.
Well, there we go, because we know that contact is a big part of your game. You were one of the top running backs at yards after contact last year. And so you did have a pretty solid season, even though it was just, 4 games at UConn, I believe, last year. I mean, you put in some great tape, great numbers, and decided to head to the transfer portal. So when it came to that decision, when did that happen? Was it very quickly after the injury? Was it after some thought for a few weeks after? Or what was that whole process like after you shut down your season with the injury?
Yeah, it definitely was a elongated process. The injury wasn't a big factor into it.
Okay.
I just felt that God was leading me somewhere else. I felt that, my place at UConn had come to an end, and, that it was almost like I was taking a leap of faith. I knew that God wanted me to go somewhere else. I just didn't know where that was. So in the beginning, when I was talking to my family and friends, people who I trust, I was a little bit scared, knowing that, okay, Lord, you're asking me to leave somewhere, but I don't know where you're going. And, what was holding me back was that fear. So I'm just grateful I had some wise counsel in my life to really help me put my faith and put my trust in God. It helped me lead to the decision. And then when I did announce my name in the portal, I was, honestly surprised by all the feedback I got. And obviously MSU was one of the biggest people who reached out to me, and obviously developing that relationship with Coach Reed and Coach Tuck and Coach Freeman, it was a no-brainer. When you just look at all the things that MSU provides as far as football, as far as academics, as far as just the family environment here, it was almost like it was a gift. It was a blessing to be here, and to choose a school. It was a no-brainer. So I'm just grateful to be here.
And so obviously MSU reached out, but how many other schools reached out? And is it a thing where, like, all right, your name hits the transfer portal and then news gets spread on Twitter? Like, is your phone almost melting immediately, or what is that like in the hours or days after you drop your name in the portal?
Yeah, so the moment the portal opened was when I went official. I posted on social media and everything like that, and it was almost like it's back to high school again. Back to recruiting, but now it's coaches reaching out to you for you want to play for them. So for a few days, really for a few weeks, my phone was blowing up, and I was getting obviously from different ACC schools were reaching out to me. Obviously, me being from New York, obviously those ACC schools in that area reaching out to me, and a couple other Big Ten schools reaching out to me, including Michigan State. So it was definitely I don't know if overwhelming would be the word. It was definitely a lot. Not what I expected, but it was a blessing, having all those opportunities, especially with number one, the injury that I had, which, was my shoulder, and also me only playing for 4 games. I was surprised by all the, all the teams that reached out to me. So that was a blessing itself. And then when it came down to making a decision, I felt at peace, and I felt like God was really leading me to Michigan State. So, and now I'm here. It's been a blessing since.
There we go. And, it was just 4 games, but it's very clear to see in the film that, like, you got a mean streak to your game. You run with a lot of power, a lot of conviction. But, I mean, just talking to you only for, about 10 minutes here, our interactions beforehand, like, you seem incredibly nice, incredibly respectful. Where do you get that feel then when the game starts? What fuels you when this game is played between the lines then?
Yeah, most definitely. One thing that I live by is playing for audience of one, right? So I play for the glory of God, for God alone. And, I understand that the gift that I have was not me. I didn't wake up with this gift and I just magically became a good football player. I was blessed with this gift. And a lot of people out there are blessed with this gift. So every time I step on the field, I strive to give God all the glory and all that I do. And that includes of me going the best, me working the hardest, me finishing the hardest, me not taking the playoff, right? Me respecting the gift and stewarding the gift that God has given me in a way where it brings glory to his name. So that's where my drive comes from. And obviously, just a pure competitive nature of wanting to win, right? No one likes to lose. Everyone likes to compete. Everyone likes to win. So that alone comes into just being able to go out there and to help my teammates to win a game, and to have the fans be proud of us, have the fans be like, listen, I want to go see, this team play, like I'm supporting this team. I want to see this team do great. And we all want that for Michigan State. So that's why I came here, so we can do those things, so we can win championships just like we are supposed to do in the school. So that's what drives me.
We will be right back with Nathan Carter here in a hot segment, but first need to talk your ear off about FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, America's #1 sportsbook for the #1 time of year to get in on the action. We got Final Four, baseball's heating up. We got Masters right around the corner as well. And there's no better place to get in on all that action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, hey, if you're a new FanDuel customer, this all gets even sweeter for you because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's right. That is up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up today and claim your no-sweat first bet. Wager on everything from money line, point spreads, make a same-game parlay with guessing players' total points, some rebounds, how many three-pointers will they make, combine them all together, and hey, you get a pretty nice payday for yourself. It's all in an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use, so do not miss out on your shot at the no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Right on. And this is also a guy that you've mentioned a few times already, but another guiding factor into this is running backs coach Effrem Reed. And we talk, whenever an athlete talks, we like to ask about Mel Tucker. And by now we know that, hey, he's an intense dude. He's all about the business, but we don't hear a lot about Effrem Reed. So what kind of a coach is he? What has he been like for you ever since you've been on campus at Michigan State?
Yeah, he's been a really good mentor for me, especially with me expanding my knowledge about the game. And that's what I love about Coach Reed is not only with me, but also with all the running backs. I feel like we get smarter each and every day from him coaching us. He treats us like men. He treats us like we're supposed to be treated. And just the way that he goes about his business, he's very serious, but yet you know that he loves us. He loves the players first, which is amazing. It's nice to know that a coach loves you for who you are and not just purely because of what you play. He actually loves us.
Yeah.
To do great in our families' lives and school and everything like that. And also, like I said, as far as the football field, he just tries to help us, each and every one of us in our game, get better each and every day. Whether that's on the film, whether that's running a route or our reads. Just the way that he coaches us is very it's good. And it helps us be better. Helps us be way smarter football players, which is what you need, especially playing in the Big Ten. And if you have aspirations for playing and from going to the NFL, you're going to need to be a smart football player because everyone's good, everyone's fast, everyone's physical, so what's the next thing that you could do to get above everybody else? And he pushes us to achieve that each and every day. So, yeah.
What is that next step for you in this offseason? Like, as you're going through all these spring practices, what skill are you trying to hone that you didn't have last year that you're trying to throw into the fall plans for this season?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's definitely getting this offense and scheme down. Obviously, coming from UConn to MSU, it's a different offense, a different scheme. And I'm a firm believer that if you have confidence of what you're doing, you're able to play faster and able to play better. So that's the biggest thing for me is being able to understand the scheme, understand what we're trying to do as an offense, so I can help the offense better. And so I know my role as a running back, as an offensive player. And then going from that, just continuing to work on everything that I had back at UConn, continue to work on my power, continue to get stronger and faster, continue to be more durable, right? Doing the little things. Like, I believe the little things matter. I think so many times a lot of guys focus on the big things, but it's always the little things. It's the flexibility, it's the durability, especially at a position you play at running back. You're going to get hit every single play. So you got to be able to be flexible. You got to be able to be durable and dependable. And that comes from obviously knowing what you're doing and also taking care of your body. So those are the big things I'm focusing on this offseason. It's not only just increasing my knowledge of the game and understanding what we're doing as a Michigan State offense, but also me being durable and being every down back that I know that we need.
And just the whole dynamic with position rooms always fascinates me. I mean, obviously, hey, you're competing for as much playing time as possible. So is everyone else in this running back room. You come here as a transfer. What has the running back room been like just with all the teammates there? Obviously, you guys are teammates, you're helping each other, but like how quick did it take to get really fully submerged into the running back room and build these relationships with those other guys?
Really since day one.
Okay.
One. When I came in and we started spring workouts, it was just the mindset that I had of coming in and just getting to work, and just competing with the guys and getting better every single day. I feel like we've done that. We've competed with each other each and every day, from our workouts to the lifts to the runs and now to spring ball. We compete each and every day and we strive to make each other get better. And the one thing I love about us is that we celebrate each other's success,
Okay.
which is so great about having a running back room. Number one, we're a family. And yes, we're all competing for a role. Yes, we're all wanting to be competitive. But at the end of the day, we all have the same goal, and that's to win. We all have the same goal. That's to contribute to this team. And it's amazing to be in a room full of guys that celebrate each other's success on the field, that coach each other up when we need to be coached up, and we hold each other accountable, which is great. And it's great when it's coming from the players and not the coaches, right? When it's coming from the players, it means something to them. So that's what I see in our room. and we're growing each and every day as far as holding each other accountable, as far as competing us, and especially just having fun in our room, and which is great, which is why it's been so easy for me to just be acclimated and be a part of this family and the brotherhood that we have.
And not too long ago, you guys had a scrimmage, and I'm going to apologize to all the viewers and listeners. No, I'm not going to ask Nathan who the starting quarterback is, all right? I'm not going to get him in trouble. And I don't want Mel Tucker showing up to my door asking, what on earth am I doing? I want this to be a safe conversation here. But who are like one or two guys that stuck out to you? Could be another running back, could be someone completely different. Was there anyone that really caught your eye where you said, wow, I didn't know you were like that at the scrimmage last weekend?
Man, that's a tough question, man. There's so many guys who I could point out on both sides of the ball.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I like that actually. There we go.
I mean, there's so many guys on both sides of the ball that have, and I believe that we all, as a team, just worked each and every day to just get better. To just improve, and that scrimmage it was good for us to really see what we have, and it was a good starting point for us. Offensively, you have guys like Keon Coleman, you have all the three quarterbacks, even the running backs. You have Jalen Bird, Mangum did a great job in the last scrimmage, and just seeing those guys, especially in the wide receiving corps, those guys step up and make the big plays, and then defensively, obviously you have the leaders over there. Starting from the linebacker unit to even the cornerbacks. Like I said, it's just been amazing. I'd be standing here all day trying to name names of who
Sure.
got stand out, but it's gonna be fun just seeing these guys improve, seeing us improve together as a team as your practices and as your scrimmages go, which I believe we do every day. I believe today we got better than we were the last practice, and I believe on Saturday we're going to get better than we were today. So it's just that constant consistency of getting better as a team, as offense, defense, as special teams collectively.
Right on. And you know what? At the end of these podcasts during March Madness, I've been giving out my best picks, and I cannot tell you how horrible this has gone. So I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to put the heat on you. You as a UConn kid, how far do you have your Huskies going here? Are you also like close with anyone on the team still, or what's that been like watching the former student athlete colleagues make this great run in March?
Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing great. I'm not close with anyone on the team as far as men's basketball, but man, just watching those guys perform, they're playing great. And right now,
incredible.
Right now, you would say that they would be the front header to win it all. It's funny. I have a lot of people from UConn who would reach out to me after they would win, and they're like, "Hey, how's it having your team in the March Madness still?" So, that you know how that goes. But
sure.
Yeah, you got teams like UConn, they got teams like Texas. I believe that it will. I'm not really sure how the bracket is organized, but I believe it'll probably come down to those two teams and then see what the best team wins. But yeah, UConn's playing great. So shout out to those guys. So.
They look unstoppable, truly. And this has been an awesome chat, man. I can't thank you enough for your time, especially with how busy you are as a student, as an athlete. You guys are grinding all day, and really appreciate you spending some time with us here on the podcast. But I'm not the only podcaster here in this conversation. You're in this business as well. Do you want to plug that and let us know everything that we can expect out of that?
Yeah, so I host a podcast called the Carter Effect Podcast, and I'm hoping to release an episode this Friday, and hopefully to release weekly episodes throughout the week. So, it's something that I started during COVID of, obviously just sitting in the room all day, not having much to do. It was like, okay, let's try something new, try something I'm passionate about. I've always listened to podcasts. I've always been intrigued by, how they were. So I ended up starting my own podcast, and I got great feedback from it. And now with being at MSU, I have the opportunity. I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to use their station, for their whole radio station for students. So now has the platform to be reached out and to be branded out on multiple platforms. So yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I'm excited to get that back going again. You can expect to hear a lot about me, a lot about who I am as a man, who I am as a person, as far as my faith and even on the field. The biggest thing that I'm excited about is to have guests on. I plan to have a lot of teammates on, have coaches on, alumni on, some close friends on. So it'll be a fun podcast, and it'll be amazing for all the supporters and listeners to tune in and to enjoy it. And I think it'll be great.
Yeah. For sure. And I can't wait to listen to the episodes, of course. And hey, again, thank you so much for all your time, your generosity. Thrilled to have you at Michigan State, not just for what we see on the film, but also clearly off the field as well. I mean, just an all-around great guy to have on campus at East Lansing. So thanks for your time. And hey, also, thanks for choosing Michigan State when you enter the transfer portal. This will be a fun fall. Best of luck this upcoming season, my man.
Thank you.
And another massive thanks to Nathan Carter for joining. Awesome kid, great player on the field, awesome guy to talk to off the field as well. So yeah, best of luck to him this upcoming season. We got a little more football news and then a little bit of basketball news we want to get to end the week, but first need to talk your ear off about Built Bar. That's right, gang. The Built March Madness bracket is here. We know that you have your favorite bar or puff, and now is your time to make it count. Go to BuiltMarchMadness.com to vote for your favorites. You know I'm going to be voting for Churro Puff. That is my personal 1 seed. And, hey, you know what? Let's take this thing all the way to the title game. And when you vote for your favorite bar or puff, you'll be entered into a drawing where 50 lucky Locked On listeners will get a free box of Built. That's right. Not only that, but one Locked On fan will get a 12-month subscription of Built to have Built's best bars or puffs delivered monthly straight to your door. You got to try Built. It's the best protein bar ever. Seriously. I mean, if you're a golfer like I am, throw a few of these in your bag. You will go dumb low every single round. They just keep you going with great taste. They're awesome on the taste buds, awesome on the body. And best of all, they are convenient to get. You can get them at Sam's Club, Walmart, or just Built.com. Also, one more time, run to BuiltMarchMadness.com right now to vote for your favorite bar or puff and pick up a box while you're there. You can vote every day in March, so time is running out. So hop in and support your pick. All right, we got some football news to get to, and no, it's nothing personnel-wise or no coaches are coming or going. This is even more exciting. We're talking about the spring football event. That's right. Spartan football kickoff is what they are calling this right now. It is Saturday, April 15th. Gates open at 12:30 p.m. and the football starts at 2 p.m. They are being very coded with the language right here, just football. Starts at 2 p.m. It could be just guys throwing the ball back and forth to each other, guys running through cones, or it could be a full-on game. They're going to decide and announce the format at a later date, but maybe that we could see a game. Perhaps we couldn't last year because the entire offensive line was in collective body cast the entire spring, and so, yeah, it was more of just, hey, it's practice, but in the stadium, come for free, get these photo opportunities, come meet Sparty, and there'll be all that good stuff, a lot of photo ops at Spartan Stadium, but there is reason to think that, hey, maybe we can actually see somewhat of a game this year, so all of us don't have to break down and analyze Noah Kim throwing to Montori Foster against air. You know, that'd be nice to actually see some action, but hey, just like we've talked about throughout this offseason, Mel Tucker has switched practice to more of an OTA style, less contact, a little more cautionary this spring, and maybe that continues for the spring game. But nevertheless, great family event. If you got little tykes that you want to take to Spartan Stadium, this is the chance to do it. Again, it will be at 2 p.m. Admission is free. And if it's free, it's for me. So, this will be another fun event there. So, yes, April 15th. Drop on by. And also, that's right, that is the same morning as the the Izzo Legacy Run, Walk, and Roll, also taking place on campus at 8:45 a.m. So, if you want some cardio before you head over to the stadium, pay up, goes to a great foundation, and you might even get to meet Tom Izzo at the end. You can let Tom Izzo know what you feel about this season, congratulate him on the season, or if you don't want to do any of that, you could always just reach out to lockedonspartans@gmail.com like Matt C did. That's right. This has been Matt C's week. This is the second time we're getting to these emails, and he's got a gripe with basketball here, but we're going to talk about it because I've got some pushback here, and I think this will be hopefully the last time you hit on the Malik Hall thing, but hey, you know what? If the emails are coming, we're going to respond to them. Matt C, thanks again for reaching out. Always love going back and forth with you. So he writes in, just listen to the pod, and if Xavier Booker can't beat out Mahdi and Hall for minutes, I will throw up in a trash can. Of course, if you missed the episode, Sam Martin and I, we talked about Xavier Booker, saying that he is more of a project. He is rated in the top 10 because his ceiling is so high. We just have a way to get there, so he may be coming off the bench in his freshman season. So Matt C., I'm sorry, you might want to get that trash can close by, but let's keep going. People covering MSU are overvaluing our current talent so hard, it's alarming. It's on Izzo to coach Booker up and turn him into Jaren Jackson Jr. by November. You don't get a top 10 recruit and bench him for Hall, who has averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds in 4 years. If we had Tillman, I'd get it, but we don't. That's tough to argue. Yes, Malik Hall, a far cry from where Xavier Tillman was going into his junior year, or in Malik Hall's case, his senior year, but I digress. We also need to get 1 or 2 transfer bigs, rim protectors in the portal. I never want to see us give up 90-plus points again. You got that right. It's on Izzo to sell this to all the players that they can be a part of a super team. I really, really don't think that Xavier Booker is going to be the player that people like Matt C. are expecting. And that's not to say that, oh, you're a dummy over there. Like, no, when you have that number 8 by your recruit ranking or the number 5, whatever site you look at, Xavier Booker's very high up there. Incredibly high up there. Yeah, you do expect instant impact from these kids, but there are some things in Xavier Booker's game that have to take that next step, especially to be a player in the Izzo system. Maybe some more defense, the motor, if you will. Don't get me wrong, the example I'm about to use might be a little foolish, maybe not, but in the McDonald's All-American game, early in the game, Xavier Booker's outside the lane, ready to box out for a free throw. The free throw's missed, and the guy who was supposed to box out gets right by him, easy put back, and I saw that, I was like, Izzo's probably at his house right now, red in the face after seeing that. So it's just stuff like that. We got to get the motor up as well. And let's just continue the Malik Hall conversation. Matsy also emails, as you are aware, I'm not a Hall fan. Understood. He's averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds in 4 years. Granted, he's battled injuries his whole career, which is another reason to move on. If you aren't available, you can't help us. There's something to that. Your best ability is availability. That's across all sports, but let's keep going with the email. Can you give me any statistical or metrics on how Hall is a good player? KenPom, defensive or offensive efficiency numbers. All I hear about him is intangibles, and that he's a smart player, but I see the ball stop on offense when it gets to him, and he's a walking turnover. You want stats, metrics? Well, Matt, I got great news for you. If you're on YouTube, you're going to be seeing this on your screen. If not, we'll walk you through it, guys, if you're listening on the podcast. But this is the efficient, that's the wrong stat I wanted to highlight. This is effective field goal rate. And actually, you know what? Screw it. We're going to start with a stat. This is effective field goal rate. So combining all sorts of shooting stats, free throws, three-point line, all that good stuff. So here you have it. This green line is the moving average. Now, if you're on the podcast, his average up until December 30th was a smooth 66.66666, which is fine. It's solid. It's there. Now, his injury on January 13th. All right, this is where we start to see a slow decline. And I want to point this out because I think the injury actually did impact him a little more than we're led on to believe. Now, this is something I've beaten into the ground in these last few weeks since the Kansas State game. But, well, why was he playing then? Okay, who else would you like to play at the 4? I don't think Pierre Brooks was necessarily going to be the answer. I don't know how long that you wanted to do the Joey Hauser at the 4 and then any combination of Mahdi, Jackson, Carson at the 5. And believe me, we saw that throughout the season, but there were times also late in games late in the year where the small ball lineup was needed and you just needed a guy like Malik in there. Now, the offensive rating is the other stat we're going to go to, and very similar to what we just saw. 5-game average of 116. An overall average of 116.42 going into the new year. And what that means is that how many points are you contributing per 100 possessions throughout the season? And 116 is a solid number. It's fine. But then, January 13th, he goes into that game, leaves with a 107, which is fine. But then there was a slow decline after that. This is all to say, well, first I want to say two things. One, I'm not comparing Malik Hall to, who are some great 4s of our time here. Just players that you would expect to have just dynamite performances, if you will. Like, hey, let's go back to Xavier Tillman, if you will. Let's take the most recent guy that was just brought up. I mean, I'm not saying that he is him, but he is a steady force, and I think the injury did impact him a little more because outside of that, he was fine. Like last year, his offensive rating was what we got here, a 109.7. That's slightly above average. Sophomore year, 111, a little above average. Freshman year, 120. Now, I will say, you're seeing the same numbers that I am. It has been a slow decline since his freshman year, which has been a little interesting, but as Matt alluded to in the email, and as you guys have probably noticed as well, it's been an injury-laden career for Malik Hall. So there is the stats right there, is that, yeah, he was fine throughout the whole season, slow decline. But what does stick out to me, too, with this chart is that there are some really low games, like 61.2 against Rutgers. All right, way in the year, 55.1 against Ohio State. That is the game in the Big Ten tournament where afterwards we said on this podcast that that's probably the worst game he's ever played as a Spartan. And the reason I'm highlighting these is because that's also the underlying thing with Malik Hall, is that it is very up and very down. We joke kind of on this podcast that, all right, well, hey, he's had 2 bad games in a row. He's going to have a great game coming up next. Or, oh, he's had a pretty bad game. That means he's going to have a pretty good game around, because it's very up and down with him. But at the end of the day, when you mix it all together, you get a fairly average, if not slightly above average player, especially when healthy. Now, that's going to be important for this upcoming season because, just like we talked about, the guys behind him are going to be freshmen. It is going to be Xavier Booker. It is going to be Cohen Carr. And while I think the world of these kids, freshman mistakes are still going to happen. And as we all know, in the 25-plus years Izzo has been here guiding this team to March Madness after March Madness, that he expects you to play a certain way under him, and that means no defensive lapses. Please box out, if you will, and any missed assignments like that on defense, you're going to want to bring in a somewhat experienced guy in there. I can't think of a more experienced guy than, well, someone that's going to be in his 5th year. So that's why, if it was up to me, if Malik Hall called me one night and said, hey, I know you're kind of just that stooge with that podcast show that you do, but can you just make my decision for me, whether to come back or not? I think I'd say, yeah, I'd have you back, Malik. Again, like, this isn't a guy that's going to have his number in the rafters. I get why people like Matt aren't maybe thrilled with the idea of another year of Malik Hall, but there's not a shortage for fine players on this team because, well, there are guys that just are way better than fine. And it's not like he's going to be the main guy here, but still, as we saw in the tournament, still playing an important role here and there, being that veteran voice at the 4 position as well. And also, hey, let's say Booker is going to be a lot better than I think. Let's say he lives up to the top 10 billing immediately. Let's say Cohen Carr steals some early minutes, absolutely flourishes in that position. It's not like we've never seen Izzo tell his senior to take a back seat and come off the bench for the young guns. I mean, he did this with Tum Tum Nairn. All right, his senior year, he had to come off the bench. Gavin Schilling also had to start coming off the bench later in his career. So it could be a chance where that happens as well, or maybe Malik Hall starts for the first month of the season, the first 2 months of the season, but as Booker grows or as Carr grows or someone else sticks out their neck ahead of the competition, all right, we're going to treat you like we just treated you this year. You're going to be coming off the bench and still getting about, call it 18, 25-ish minutes a game. So, yeah, the Malik Hall saga continues. But, yeah, thanks a lot for the emails, Matt C. Really do appreciate you always writing in. And anyone else that always writes in, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. You know where to find us. Thank you guys so much for ending your week with us here. We'll be back next week. You know it. Keep it tuned. Locked on Spartans. Go enjoy the weekend. Love you all. Go green.